yet another comeback from injury, but my word, his form has certainly begun to build at just the right time, hasn't it? The second half of the season, making his Vienna debut this week. That form in the second half of the season underlined by the fact that every indoor hard court event he's played this year, he's made the semi-finals at least, and he loves these conditions, and he says, Adam, he really enjoys the court conditions here and the speed of the court in Vienna. It really suits him.
Yeah, I mean, Khachanov has been great, certainly indoors this year. And he played well yesterday, but he's already won 2 titles on the indoor hard courts. He triumphed in Marseille in February, beat the likes of Thomas Berdych and Luca Pouille, and then, of course, last week at the Kremlin Cup, where he survived an almighty tussle with the fellow young Russian Daniil Medvedev in the semis before beating Adrian Mannarino in the final. But obviously against someone like Kei Nishikori, a seasoned veteran who, as he said so, is playing some great tennis recently. Final in Tokyo, semis in Metz, semis at the US Open, quarterfinals in Shanghai, so he's gone deep in a lot of tournaments.
Gentlemen, you guys know everything, 25 seconds between points. We have TV changeovers, and we also have Okai, so please say something. Any questions? Karen, heads or tails? Heads, thank you. This is tails. You receive? Good match, gentlemen. Thank you. Okay.
Well, Cedric Mourier is going to be in charge of proceedings here. And the place, the quarterfinals at stake for these two. And that is the prize for the winner today. Dominic Thiem or Sam Querrey in the last 8. Thiem has only ever been to the quarterfinals here once before. He would love to match that as the #1 seed in Vienna this week. A tournament, of course, he absolutely loves in front of his home fans. Well, Khachanov's making his 3rd appearance in Vienna. It got off to a good start against the wildcard Denis Novak. It was a curious match, though, wasn't it, that match yesterday, Adam? Because the games came in clusters, didn't they? Khachanov made a really good start, stretched out to a 3-love lead. Novak reeled him in, and then 6 games in a row gave Khachanov the first set. And then all of a sudden, Novak came back at him again.
Yeah, it might have just been a little bit of fatigue maybe from Khachanov, obviously off the back of a long week in Moscow last week, reaching the final. Well, he didn't play a huge amount of tennis there. Only one of his matches in Moscow went the distance. And pretty straightforward in the final as well, 2-2 against Mannarino. And then was still able to have a couple of days off before that first-round match with Denis Novak. But it is always difficult when you're playing someone with the home crowd behind them, which obviously Denis Novak had, the wild card from Austria. But Khachanov, in the end, I mean, he was always reasonably comfortable. He was always ahead and, yeah, got the job done in the end in straight sets. So, but he's certainly going to have to play better today, you'd imagine, to get the better of Nishikori.
Absolutely, broken into the top 20 for the very first time. With his old coach, Vedran Martic, his very first coach, after parting company with Gano Blanco 12 months ago. And that decision has certainly, on paper at least, looked like the right one for him in taking him on to the next level. A year ago he was 45 in the rankings at the Next Gen finals, but now inside the top 20, which is exactly where he was aiming to be. Okay, Nishikori currently just outside the top 10 with a ranking of 11. Made his debut in Vienna on Tuesday. Dropped a set against Francis Tiafoe and bidding to reach his 10th quarterfinal of another hugely consistent year, and making a late run for London. He feels like he's very close to the top 8 in terms of the form he has currently in the tennis he's playing. And his latest comeback, remember, came after he dropped to a ranking of 39 in April, and that was his lowest since October 2011. So the quality of Nishikori shining through after a stuttering start to the season, I think it's fair to say, because of that comeback from injury.
Yeah, the wrist injury, and obviously that's reared its ugly head again a couple of weeks ago at the US Open. But yeah, it came through a really tricky match actually against Francis Tiafoe there. He was in control, he was serving for the match in the second set at 5-3, and then just completely checked out. Lost his first serve, which is going to be important for Nishikori today, certainly with the return of Khachanov and how hard he can hit the ball. But yeah, Tiafoe managed to come back from 5-3 down in that second set to reel off 5 straight games, sent the match to a decider, but then Nishikori again just upped his level in that final set. But it's interesting, the clash between him and John Isner in this race to London. There was only 20 points separating them coming into this week. There's now 65. Isner was the only person that was able to add points round on round. So the only way that Nishikori will pass John Isner this week is if he reaches the semis and Isner loses in, well, later on today. Nishikori reaches the final and Isner doesn't, or if Nishikori beats John Isner in that final. So Nishikori knows what he's got to do, but he's certainly playing well enough to do.
But you're right, Adam, when you point to that match against Tiafoe. He just went away a little bit. He looked a little out of sorts. We wondered at the time, didn't we, if all was well physically. But he just suffered a little bit of a slump in that match and then bounced back really well at the end of it, as he so often does, the quality really shining through. So here we go, our first round 2 match of day 4, Thursday in Vienna, the Austrian capital. Players have been out and about enjoying themselves, doing a bit of sightseeing and doing a bit of cooking as well. And you can have a look at these videos on the ATP website, they're quite fun. They've been out at the Vienna State Opera too. Kei Nishikori was on that particular trip. So they've been having a good time away from the tennis, but very much down to business now with the quarter-finals at stake.
Below 15.
Interesting as well, these two have met 3 times previously, and Khachanov has actually won the last 2, albeit both of those matches were on the grass in Halle. Their only hard-court meeting was back at the 2016 US Open, which Nishikori won in 4.
Andrei Sikimtin, 30-15.
It was an interesting US Open for Karen Khachanov this year, wasn't it? Pushing Rafa to 4 sets, 4 pretty brutal sets at Flushing Meadows this year. It's a tidy hold of serve to get things underway. He served really well in Moscow last week, was only broken once. It was in his opening match against Lucas Rosol. After that, that serve led the way, all the way to a 3rd career title and a first Russian winner there since 2009. So he arrives in Vienna on a real high. 2 titles this year. Again, another real plus when you change your coaching team. It's always such a positive to have targets met, and I suspect he's certainly done that this year, Karin Khachanov. Oh, super rally. Nishikori frustrated. He feels he should have come away with something at the end of it.
0-15. Love 15.
Yeah, should have done just a little bit more with that one there. He just gave Khachanov another opportunity at the net. Good hands from the Russian. Yeah, you mentioned that match against Rafa at the US Open that Khachanov had. I think even though he lost that, I think he took a lot of belief out of that match because he did run Rafa so close. Won the first set 7-5 and then 3 really close ones after that, 7-5, and then 2 tiebreakers. And I think it almost just gave him the belief, you know what, I can compete with the very best out here. So no real surprise to go and see him winning a title shortly after.
Super volley.
Gets it. 15-13.
That first serve percentage of Nishikori is going to be key today. Really needs to keep it high because Khachanov will probably go after that Nishikori second serve a little bit. Not the biggest weapon in the world.
There was a chance for that mighty Khachanov forehand. Court was wide open too,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Such a good return from Khachanov, width and depth. Got the short ball that he was after. A little bit snatchy with the forehand. Desperate to put it away.
4 points in a row from Kei Nishikori from love 30, gets the job done. Both men on the scoreboard in the first 5 minutes in Vienna.
Prince and 15 love. Right, 6 love. 30 love.
It's such a massive weapon, that serve. It's getting better and better from Khachanov.
Good depth from Nishikori, right on the baseline. Nicely done by Khachanov. Started this match really well on serve. 8 out of 10 finding the mark. He dropped a couple of points behind it, and he leads the way by 2-1.
You're watching Center Court on Tennis Channel.
Mighty forehand. Made the breakthrough at Grand Slams last year by reaching the second week for the very first time, and he's backed that up this year as well. Fourth round of the French again, and fourth round of Wimbledon for the first time as well. And but for an inspired Nadal, it would have been the fourth round of the US Open as well. So he's certainly heading absolutely in the right direction, Khachanov.
I think he'd be very surprised if he didn't make it inside the world's top 10 in the pretty near future. Only 22 years of age as well, so still be around for the next decade or more.
Love 15.
He's another one of those young guys, isn't he? Even though he's 6'6", he's such a good mover, great athlete as well. Khachanov, it's not just a big serve, big forehand. He's got a lot more to his game than that.
A tremendous forehand from Nishikori. Lightning racket head speed.
Yeah, it's incredible. No pace to work with.
Vincent 15-30.
I was really impressed with the consistency at times and depth of his hitting against Denis Novak.
Extra service.
So that first serve percentage is key, and at the moment Nishikori is certainly doing well on that first serve. 8 out of 10 so far.
Well, that's the danger of the Khachanov forehand. Timed that return beautifully.
Yeah, and that is why Nishikori has to make as many first serves as he can, because that second serve just absolutely got the treatment. Huge return. Break point.
Just a wonderful point from Nishikori. It had to be on break point, but he dictated that beautifully.
Yeah, he did, and, well, just evidence of the way that Khachanov can move, though, because Nishikori must have thought that he'd won that point a few times over, but the ball kept coming back.
Otai, Nishikori.
Just so good from Nishikori. The body serve has been outstanding in the early stages here. And the athleticism and accuracy behind it, terrific.
He just times his moves forward so well. Kei Nishikori just sneaks in. Khachanov doesn't even see him coming, and got great hands at the net. Knew that he was going to get a slice return there. Perfect volley.
Continue, 15 now. Rice secure. 30 long.
Vedran Martic, coach of Khachanov.
Rice, Vincent. 30-15. Rice, Biden. 30 on.
Well, he was absolutely in cruise control at 30 love in this game, but just a tiny bit loose from Karen Khachanov, and all of a sudden, now Nishikori has a chance.
At second service.
Well, Nishikori strikes. He teased and tormented Khachanov in that rally. And the longer it went on, the greater the belief grew that Nishikori would pounce on that break point, and he did. And he has the advantage. He's been doing what he always does. Kei Nishikori here, just playing the line so brilliantly and so accurately. And breaking down the opponent's game, and that's a great illustration of exactly what happened in that Khachanov service game.
Time.
So it's often the case, isn't it? You have a break point on your opponent's serve, you can't take it. And then there's a little letdown in your own service game that follows, and all of a sudden you find yourself a breakdown. And that's just what's happened here.
Prince 15 love. Hot.
Didn't have to be
Rice.
that good.
Very low.
There was plenty of room. Absolutely tried to hit the line and take the cover off the ball, and didn't quite achieve his objective. Well, the problem Khachanov's got here is Nishikori is very happy to take the ball early. He's on his baseline, he's dictating. He's not being pushed back in the way that opponents usually are by that booming forehand of Khachanov's.
Yeah, he's just so good at absorbing pressure. Even that pick up there on the half volley, he made that look so easy. It's actually a lot harder. He's got to try and figure this out, Khachanov.
Spiel Nishikori.
Rapid hold of serve from Nishikori to back up the break, and
Nishikori.
daylight between the two of them now in this first set. Khachanov is a bit streaky again, lost 8 points in a row from 30 love on his own serve. Needs to stop this momentum.
Ulfinsen. Love 15.
That's better.
It just shows him that he doesn't have to hit the cover off the ball every single time. Sometimes just using the pace and just guiding that one is all it takes.
Take that, says Nishikori. If you want to trade backhands down the line, I've got a better one.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd be trading backhands with Kei Nishikori.
No. His coach Dante Bettini enjoyed that. Oh, that's wild. There's some frustration building up here for Khachanov. The trouble is, the games are building up on the other side of the net from Nishikori. Oh, so nearly.
He's just missing that Rafa Nadal bit of curl, wasn't he, that you so often see from Rafa.
That was a great low volley from Khachanov, wasn't it? He's got it again. Nishikori with the double break, and real problems in this opening set now for Karen Khachanov. He has it all to do from 2-5 down.
Staggering, really, how quickly he came back.
Time.
Oh, now it's Karen Khachanov who needs to find something special. And remember, this is all from 2-all, 30 love, and it's slipped away from him very, very rapidly indeed. That'll help. Again, second serve, getting the treatment.
Love 15. Vincent Biden, 15 on. Drive 6 minutes. Penalty 15.
I think a lot of his second serves will now be possibly directed to the Khachanov backhand rather than in that forehand slot. He's quite as comfortable.
Out. 8-6 minutes.
Yeah, he's getting a bit frustrated, Khachanov. Forced errors. Up to 12 for this first set now. And Nishikori with 2 chances to close it out. Job done for Kei Nishikori, and very efficiently done as well. That's a very neat and tidy first set of tennis
6-2.
for the number 5 seed, and he takes it to.
Time. Zweiter Satz.
So second set. Khachanov will get this one underway. Suthurl has popped out. Chris Wilkinson has returned. How are you, Chris?
I'm good, thank you. Very good.
What do you make of that opening set?
Impressive. It's a very good set from Nishikori.
It's nice from Khachanov. Just needs to get off to a good start here, just to try and calm him down a little bit. That's tremendous again from Nishikori. He's been so good at the net so far. 7 from 9 now.
That's what I've seen the first set, just how he's managing his game. It's better than Khachanov. The moves forwards are very good, but it's set up by the quality, the way he's building the point as well.
Well,
Good to see Khachanov there mixing it up a little bit, the serve and volley.
14-15.
But I think also Nishikori from on his serve, he's making a high percentage of first serves, which then doesn't expose his second serve as much.
Yeah, nice quick fire start from Khachanov. Takes the opening game of this second set. Yeah, and even when Nishikori has had to hit a second serve, Khachanov not really capitalising on that. Nishikori's winning 5 of the 8 points so far.
Yeah, so the overall picture really from Nishikori, as we have a little look at the shot placement. Pretty similar inside the baseline. It's just the area just behind the baseline where Nishikori is just holding the court better than Khachanov. And that's what gives him the opportunity to dictate and then get into the net behind it, as we've seen quite a few times in the opening set. Doesn't give up much ground on the baseline, does he? Nishikori takes the ball very early. Another example there, the first serve, enabling Nishikori then to attack and take the third ball early.
First service.
Again, trying to be aggressive behind that second serve.
Right idea.
Yeah.
I think you just got to look at that and think that's a good miss, trying to take it on.
Tremendous depth once again from Nishikori. Looking so solid behind these ground strokes at the moment.
till Nishikori.
So hold to love for Nishikori.
And Spider-Man, 1-1.
Crowd just beginning to fill up as well, which is good to see. They would have been left disappointed yesterday. Of course, they came in their droves to see Jürgen Meltzer. And Meltzer, unfortunately, not well enough to actually play his match against Kevin Anderson. He is still hoping to play in the doubles, Jürgen Meltzer. Of course, this was his last ever singles tournament, so certainly not the end that he wanted. At least the crowd today will have Dominic Thiem, though, to get behind a little later on.
Second serve, they've got so much work on it. Really jumped up.
Oh, stunning return from Nishikori.
Bei 6-15, 30-15.
That was a good return as well, wasn't it? Off the backhand side, great depth on it.
30-on.
I just wonder almost if he could have serve volleyed that one, because it seemed to be up in the air for a while, and once he let it drop, then Nishikori is back into the point.
Weer 6-6. Tillfällig.
Little apology from Nishikori there, slight miss hit.
For me, I think that that's an area of Khachanov's game that he needs to improve. Yes, it was it's a miss-hit return, but it's sometimes I feel it's quite wooden. That sort of shot just need a little more looseness with that approach shot with the slice. And very seldom do you see from the back of the court Khachanov looking to vary the pace by hitting a slice in there.
It's tremendous hitting again from Nishikori. Well, just like in the first set, Khachanov was 30 love up in this game, and it's rather quickly got away from him, and Nishikori has his first look at a break point in this second set. Which he gets. Forehand into the net from Khachanov. And Kei Nishikori now in complete control out here on centre court. It's been really good tennis from the number 5 seed. And he leads by a set and 2 games to 1. So Khachanov needs to find something from somewhere out here, because Nishikori, after getting the break in that previous game, leading 2-1 now. Took the opening set 6-2. First of 4 singles matches today. Kyle Edmonds, the number 8 seed, taking on Fernando Verdasco. That's coming up next.
Vincent Null. 15 love. 15 beide.
It's unusual to see him miss those, he hasn't. He's been so rock solid. Very few weaknesses in Nishikori's game today. He struggled on that backhand when he's tried to move forwards and take the ball early, Khachanov. Unlike Nishikori, who does that shot so well.
Would you say at the moment with Khachanov there's almost no plan B? It's kind of hit big, and if that doesn't work, then he's not really got anywhere else he can go.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you watch him play and feel it's a bit one-dimensional. So I sort of say about, you know, varying the pace a little bit more, the use of the slice backhand to keep the ball low. I mean, he's getting a lesson in every department today, you kind of feel. Nishikori moving the ball around better. Khachanov, one of those players who likes it in that hit zone where he doesn't have to move too much.
Yeah, it's another error off that backhand wing from Khachanov. Nishikori just going on his merry way out here. 3-1 now.
3-1. Continue. 15 line. Rise signal. 30 long. Rise 15. 30-15.
Got to be careful here. Sorry, Chris. Got to be careful, Khachanov, because not for the first time today, 30 love up and now in trouble.
Yeah, another shot. Well, he's overhit again, where we talk about adjusting to the ball you're receiving. It's shooting through low. You know, maybe again that little slice in there just to keep him in that point, a little smarter of those sort of shots.
That's too good from Nishikori.
And that's the example of what Nishikori did well there. It's a different pace, different height, so the forehand there is higher and it's looped, and then he gets the ball to attack. So a little smarter in the way he's delivering his shots.
There's a Nishikori masterclass at the moment on centre court. A set and a double break lead now for the number 5 seed, and Karen Khachanov is in all kinds of trouble out here. Nishikori leading 4-1 second set.
Time.
Plenty to ponder then for Karen Khachanov. And it's just not been his day today. Been taught a bit of a lesson, as Chris said, by Nishikori today. Winner of this one plays the winner of the third match on centre court today, Dominic Thiem, the number 1 seed against Sam Querrey. That's a not before 5 o'clock local time. It's just coming up to 2:05 here in Vienna. And then not before 7 o'clock last match on Gaël Monfils of France up against John Isner. So far, this result not quite going the way of John Isner. He would have been hoping for a Khachanov win to try and do his chance of reaching London a little bit of good.
Null 15. Love 15.
It was a pretty amazing shot, wasn't it? Nishikori, the defence there from that backhand corner. I mean, he's seeing it like a football today, isn't he?
Yes, it's been seriously impressive from Nishikori so far. As it has been really over the course of the last few months, since that semi-final at the US Open, semi-final in Metz, where he somewhat surprisingly lost to Matthias Baschinger, although he absolutely dominated that match. I've no idea how he lost that. So many break points that he wasn't able to take. And the final in Tokyo, where he lost to Medvedev, and quarters in Shanghai, so he's been playing well for quite some time now, Nishikori.
That's pretty wild, that, wasn't it? Khachanov.
Nishikori. He just struggled to find any way back here for Khachanov. Not even an hour played. 55 minutes on the clock, and Khachanov already serving to stay in the match.
Haven't seen too much really of that from Khachanov, really dictating the points.
Yeah, normal service has resumed for Nishikori.
But again, it's the way he's moving the ball around the court. Khachanov really struggling to settle. He's getting him wide on the forehand, following it into the net, and he's just working the point so well.
Right sequence. 30-15. Here, sequence. 40-15. Hitting right 6, 40-30.
I don't think you can quite believe what's happened over the course of the last hour. Khachanov, a match that started so brightly for him. He's racing through his first couple of service games, applying pressure to the Nishikori serve, and then it really did unravel. Again, it's just perfectly timed, the return from Nishikori, not trying to overhit. See how much there Khachanov has struggled behind his second serve. He's won just 5 of 16 points behind it. Good. Just needs something to try and inspire him here, Khachanov. It's a long way back, but has been done before. Well, he stops the bleeding, Karen Khachanov, but for how long, that's the question. In a couple of moments' time, it will be Kei Nishikori serving for a place in tomorrow's quarter-final. He leads 5-2, second set.
You're watching Center Court on
You can just hear the footwork, can't you, before he hits the ball there. I mean, the ball's coming to him with no pace, but he's still respecting the ball. He's receiving lots of little steps there.
Vincent Bider, 15 on.
And net points won from Nishikori. That's 14 out of 16.
Dry 6, Vincent, 15.
Well, they will be pretty delighted with what they've seen today from Nishikori.
Vincent, 40-15.
A miss-hit return from Khachanov brings up 2 match points.
Vierzig, 30, 40-13.
It's a Nishikori masterclass here in Vienna. A breathtaking performance from the number 5 seed, making his debut here in Austria this season. And he's booked his spot in the quarterfinals. Just way too good on the day for Khachanov. Obviously the winner last week, the Russian. But Nishikori, what a performance. He has just shown everyone inside this centre court. We'll go over and sign a few things, I would have thought, but Nishikori books his spot in the quarters, just 1 hour and 3 minutes, 6-2, 6-2.
Welcome everyone to Tennis Channel and Center Court. The European indoor season, the final weeks of the 2018 season as we make our way to the year-end championships for the ATP in London. This week, it's ATP World Tour 500 tennis from Vienna and Basel. Here's a look at the order of play at the Erste Open. Kyle Edmund, the number 8-seeded Brit, taking on the left-handed Spaniard Fernando Verdasco. Those guys are up next on court. Top seed Dominic Thiem, a man who has yet to win his home title, will take on the big American Sam Querrey. Gael Monfils will take on the big American John Isner. Isner still hoping to get a spot in the year-end championships. I'm Leif Shiras alongside Mark Knowles. So glad he could be with us for this one. Mark, important time of the year. People think that after the U.S. Open, well, tennis goes away. Not really. Plenty on the line for these guys still.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of intrigue in the fall season. You can really set yourself up for a good start to 2019, even if you don't have the ability to qualify for the ATP World Tour Finals. Isner, of course, is one of those guys who's fighting for the spot at the ATP World Tour Finals. And look at this lineup as well in Basel. You got Seppi, the Italian, going against Medvedev, who's had a terrific year. Tsitsipas been in tremendous form, goes up against Gojavcik. Alexander Zverev came through a tricky matchup yesterday against Robin Haase, playing very well, goes up against the very young Australian. And Federer, will he be better than he was in the first round? He will have to be against Struff, who's a very tough opponent. And Ernest Gulbis has shown some really good tennis as of late. Finals last week in Stockholm. Will go up against the Frenchman Gilles Simon.
Yeah, it was Gulbis who took out the American Jack Sock. Well, that's a pretty good lineup when you've got Tsitsipas and Zverev, two emerging next-gen stars. Zverev, an established star. Tsitsipas with his big break for this year. And, of course, Roger Federer, man who's won this title 8 times. So he's going for number 9. Here's a look at Daniil Medvedev and Andreas Seppi. And Medvedev's taking the opening set in a tiebreak. That was a break point denied by the Italian for the Russian.
Seppi, of course, the very experienced Italian. Tremendous counterpuncher from the back of the court. These guys have played once before. It was earlier this year in Rotterdam. Seppi actually got the best of Medvedev. So Medvedev looking to turn the tables.
Yeah, that's a nice finish from the Italian. And he is so good from the back of the court.
He's so smooth. One of the cleaner strikers of the ball from the baseline. Quick look at the draw. Taylor Fritz through to the quarterfinals, taking advantage of a pretty good section, and things have opened up even more. Marius Copil getting past Marin Cilic, so opportunity there for Fritz. I mentioned some of the other great matchups still to come this afternoon.
Yeah, Cilic, I'm sure, was disappointed because he's very much still in that hunt for a spot in the final 8. But came up a little short against Copil, who has a wonderful one-handed backhand. A couple of great shots up the line in that match against Cilic.
Mr. Zadik has challenged the ball on the right baseline. Ball was called in.
He didn't look entirely convinced, and that's why.
No, that one was inside the line, yeah.
Surprising, because he actually got the ball back that he elected to challenge. Love 15 ends up losing the point.
Yeah, nice little bunt backhand down the line. You see Medvedev wasn't happy with the volley he tried to produce.
Giving himself a thumbs up. Sarcastically, of course, not happy with that volley.
I think we've all had that feeling. Yeah, this is the kind of tennis Seppi can produce. He doesn't mind going deep in the rallies, and he's got some pop on the forehand.
Well, it's interesting because I think this is a good matchup for Seppi. He hits the ball in the slot so well. We talked about how good his ground strokes are. Medvedev hits the ball relatively flat. So when you play Seppi, you want to try to get it out of his hitting zone a little bit, either with slice or heavy top. Medvedev doesn't have either of those strokes. Hits the ball very flat.
Seppi, 34 years of age. He's the veteran in this encounter. Dropped outside the top 100 for the first time in many years. Just last year, but has played his way back into the mix. That's a great reply from Medvedev.
That's the one difference between these two players. Medvedev has a real weapon on that first serve. And generate a lot of free points. Getting an ace at a very important moment right there to save that break point.
I was going to say about Seppi, you know, you drop outside the top 100, 33 years of age, you know, you start thinking, oh, is this my time? But he rededicated his efforts to getting back in the game, played some challenger tennis, dropped down, had some wins. Yeah, that's a good game for Medvedev. He was in a bit of trouble, but avoids it. Seppi's going to challenge this, but he has not had great luck with that, has he?
Wow.
That was inside the line. So Seppi will sit down scratching his head about chances lost and challenges lost. The last of 13 ATP World Tour 500 tournaments taking place this week in Basel and Vienna. Beautiful part of the world. Has plenty of ATP ranking points on the line, plus some spots in London and also in Milan. Nitto ATP Finals qualification cutoff is November 5th. Of course, the next gen ATP Finals cutoff is October 29th, so there's plenty to play for still this week. I'm Leif Shiras alongside Mark Knowles. Welcome in, everyone. A little bit of tennis to start off your morning from Basel. Glad you could be with us. I've got coffee. Mark has tea. We hope you're enjoying a morning beverage as we get you started on another great day of tennis here on center court. Is that English breakfast, Mark?
It is. Gets the morning started just right.
Glove 15.
One thing about Seppi is he's played well on all surfaces throughout his career. You talk about his longevity, his ability to fight back up the rankings. I think that's an important component as well. Plays well on grass, plays well on clay. Also hard courts, and especially indoors where the ball stays fairly low at times in some of these indoor surfaces.
He might be most famous for beating Roger Federer at the Australian Open back in 2015. And here's a quick look over at Vienna in Austria.
Challenge. And a challenge between first and second serve immediately. It's not fair for the server to wait, okay? 25 seconds. Helga, can you ask Fernando for heads or tails? Heads is called.
Fernando Verdasco and Kyle Edmonds getting ready to start off their second round match. And we're going to be going to that match.
Yeah, Leif, you bring up that win against Federer at the Australian Open. That really stood out because Seppi's been one of those players. Didn't really have the game style to kind of upset the top echelon of players, but he was able to get through, and that was his biggest win for sure of his career against Federer. Always felt that he didn't necessarily have the firepower to challenge the top guys, but not on that day. He had the answers.
Yeah, and a couple of loose errors there from the Italian. Very costly indeed. And for a guy who really builds his game around his consistency, that's not going to help.
Yeah, interesting when you look at those two games. It was the break points in the previous game where he had some forehand errors. And then that, you rarely see him miss a backhand ground stroke just into the middle of the net. A little bit careless from Seppi.
59.
But Medvedev, a part of the new guard, really, that's emerging in the game. He's got 3 titles this year, winning in Sydney, Winston-Salem, and Tokyo. So he's had success really throughout the season. Hard courts down under, hard courts in North America, hard courts in Asia. So it's a nice spread of success, ranking points. So his ranking's going to be pretty secure for a while.
Medvedev's just had such a great season, and these are the types of matches he's been winning a lot of. Talk about his 3 titles this year. It's a tough opponent, but he's navigating his way through this match. Little fortunate there from Seppi. I think he framed that one a little bit. What a nice play. Moving forward.
Mr. Medvedev is challenging the call on the left far sideline. Ball is called false.
See what the challenge tells us. Yeah, missed it wide. And you see Medvedev also showing the same willingness to go deep in the rally.
14-15.
It takes a fair amount of determination to out-rally this man, the Italian. Medvedev, as you said, the edge on the serve. He's 6 feet 6 inches tall, so he's got a good angle down into that box. The serve has been a growing strength of his over the course of this season. Yeah, that's pretty big. Medvedev gets himself to 4-1. He's got the first set, too. Action from the Swiss indoors, the opening match of the day. Andrea Seppi, the Italian, taking on the number 7 seeded Russian, Daniil Medvedev. And so far, Medvedev getting the best of Seppi.
I think Medvedev's one of those players that's really come into his own. We talked about the big first serve, also the ability to be consistent, but he also tries to force the play when the time is right. Good job there from Seppi to mix in a little bit of slice. You can see that is a surprising result, Leaf. Nishikori, 6-2, 6-2 against Khachanov.
Yeah, I'm surprised on a lot of levels. You know, with Khachanov with his big serve, obviously Nishikori a great return, but I mean, Khachanov has a great two-hander. You know, that could stand up to some of Nishikori's great two-handed shots, but the Russian just did not have enough today. That's a quality win right there.
How about the story of Nishikori when you think back to where he started the year? Playing challengers in Newport Beach, in Dallas, and now he's got a chance to qualify for the ATP World Tour Finals. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, the cream rises to the top, doesn't it? I mean, he's been a top 10 guy for a number of years, and obviously the wrist problems that beset him. I can remember seeing him play in Newport, and he was a bit rough, but played well in Texas. And that was a little bit of a launch pad for him. And we see that so often amongst guys on the ATP Tour. If you're struggling or coming back from injuries, you dip down, get some challenger tennis in, reacquaint with yourself with the winning habit.
Oh! What a return from Medvedev. Great angle on the serve, but too good on the return from Medvedev.
He's got some reach, doesn't he? When he extends out to that ball, a big stride and a big swipe of the arm.
Game second.
All right, Seppi does what he needs to do, which is take care of his serve and try and pay some attention here on the Medvedev service game. Stefanos Tsitsipas, Peter Gojicic up next. Tsitsipas playing some brilliant tennis this year. He'll be tested against the German, though, who's also had a good season. But Tsitsipas, the number 4 seed here. First Greek winner ever on the ATP World Tour. Winning Stockholm just last week.
That's the side you need to attack on Medvedev. If you can get it in there fast to the forehand, he's got a bit of a long take back, or if you can get a nice low slice there, Medvedev sometimes can struggle when time's taken away. That's a great shot there from Seppi. The effectiveness of the drop shot was set up by how deep the return was. Medvedev had to retreat. And that's great court awareness from Seppi. Medvedev continues to go with the T serve in the ad court. Seppi hasn't been able to take it away, because generally Medvedev's favored serve is out wide in that ad court.
Yeah, that's quite a position he assumes when he takes that serve out near the singles line.
Yeah, interesting. On that deuce court, he's all the way out, almost to the doubles alley, trying to generate a little more angle.
And I'm sure hoping to hit a backhand right on the next ball.
Exactly.
And here's Seppi with a break point.
A good apology, but not truly sorry. Very happy to see that one roll over.
In his heart of hearts, he's happy that it went over. Yeah, saves the break point. That's a massive moment.
Once again, as you mentioned, Leaf, incredible defense from Medvedev. He's got those long arms, he's got long strides, covers a lot of ground. Look at this shot on the full run. Nice racket skills to get that one down low to the attacking Seppi.
Yeah, Medvedev, thanks to a net cord, saves a break point, gets the game. And now just a single game over Verdasco, just getting started. Verdasco breaking the Brits' serve in the opening game, but Edmund looking to break right back in the second.
Speed. Edmund.
So we trade breaks in Vienna. You can follow that for the moment on Tennis Channel Plus, as you can all the tennis this week and next week for the Paris Masters Series. We'll just stick with Medvedev and Seppi as the young Russian, a game away from advancing to the quarterfinals in Basel. Stefanos Tsitsipas, he's on deck, taking on Peter Gojicic, the German. Yeah, not much happening on that serve.
Very nice way to put it, Leaf. When you hit a second serve in the middle of the net. Well, it seems that Seppi's a little bit discouraged, which you don't see very often, but since we've started showing this match, he's had a few opportunities, really hasn't capitalized on any of them. Medvedev has been solid throughout.
Well, we'd like to have that one back.
It's interesting watching the Medvedev backhand stroke production. Very similar to Kukushkin, who we watched yesterday. They hit kind of a flat side underspin. Generate a ton. They don't drop the racket face and generate a ton of spin. They just have tremendous racket control.
It's Seppi who tries to change directions, finds the net again. Hasn't been his friend today, as Medvedev a chance now to close it out. Yeah, that's too good. Medvedev, that's his 41st win of the year. That's an impressive number. His best season ever, and he continues his winning ways here in Basel.
Yeah, another solid performance out of Daniil Medvedev against a tricky opponent in Andreas Seppi. Not surprising that Medvedev got through. A little bit surprising to see Medvedev get the better of all the long rallies.
Yeah, he's playing as a top 20 player this week as the number 7 seed. And he'll advance into the quarterfinals now and await the winner of the next match up in Basel, Tsitsipas and Gojicic.
Well, if he can continue to get through the draw, he might get a chance at a rematch against Roger Federer. He played him well in Shanghai a few weeks ago, lost in 3 sets, but Medvedev is playing with so much confidence right now. We'll await Tsitsipas and Gojicic. As we mentioned, Fritz already through, plays Kopil in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, Taylor Fritz, he's got a real shot. Unseeded player in the quarterfinals in Basel, ATP World Tour 500 event. Could be something of a breakthrough event for Taylor in Europe. Indoor court. So Sasha Zverev down at the bottom, looming, who's played so well in his opening match, beating Robin Haase. So plenty to look forward to as Basel unfolds. For this moment, Daniil Medvedev will enjoy a victory in Switzerland.
Everyone